Bom dia, bom dia.
Hello, hello, hello.
Good
Hey
morning.
guys.
How are you?
Good morning.
Sleepy?
Yeah, waking up.
Okay. What time it is there in DC?
It just turned 7. It's okay for me. It's just like going to
7
work.
p.m. My God. Oh my gosh, sorry. We
No,
love
it's
you. We
okay.
love you, Alex.
It's okay. It's punishment for me making you guys wait till I think 1 o'clock a month ago.
It's true, it's true, it's true. No worries, no worries. We do it because we love it. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Thank you very much for your commitment. But usually you start your day like this, so early in the morning or not so early?
Yes, yes, early in the morning, just get ready for work, put on the uniform and start my day, yes. But today's a federal holiday, so I have a day off.
Oh, okay. Oh. Good, 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 good. So
Yes.
let's do a fast introduction for those that are arriving now. First of all, welcome. My name is Ricardo.
My name
We
is
have here
Paula.
Paula from ALC Dance Studios from Porto, Portugal. And we are doing a series of talks where we speak with the attendees of our Kizomba teachers training that we call KTT, that we made it already in several parts of the world. And we have here today Alex Rodriguez that made it in Canada, although he's from the US. And we want to share with the world what were the needs, what they were looking for to do the investment in our teachers training, but also to know the transformation in their lives, to know their background. We are discovering a lot of things in these talks because usually we don't have so much time to talk with the students like so personally, and being here in this live, it's good because we start knowing things about you that we didn't know before. And at the end of the talk, we also want to try to give like a small coach session in order that we can give an extra push. And it's have been beautiful to see and to watch what has passing in the last talks because we felt that we could help the ones that attended to pass to a different stage of their ladder. So it's have been very beautiful process, and we are very thankful and grateful for being able to do this. So let's go now to your presentation. I would like you please to tell who you are, from where you are from. That name, Alex Rodriguez, it's not a typical American name, it's a North American name. So talk a little bit about you, your background, where your parents come from, and I will give you now the time to that.
Awesome. So my actual first name is Alejandro Rodriguez. I just prefer to be called Alex because one, my dad is also named Alejandro, and two, I hate it when people pronounce it wrong. My dad is from Panama. My mom is from Puerto Rico. It's a little bit more mixed after that. You know, we're mutts all over the place. I have Chinese, I have Portuguese, I have
Oh, I didn't know that you have
Spanish.
Portuguese family
A
background.
little bit, yes. It's not a part of the family that stayed with us, but it exists.
Nice.
And then we'll have a little bit of African from the Panamanian side as well. I was born in New York, Brooklyn, New York. I grew up in Florida, South Florida. And let's see, where did I start? In 2010, one of the very unique things about me, I actually joined the United States military. I am in the Air Force. I have been in the Air Force for 10 years now, and I'm still in active duty Air Force. Let's see, where else?
But now you are living in DC.
I live in Washington, D.C. now, yes. I moved from South Florida to Denver, Colorado for 3 years, and now I've been in D.C. for 6 years, and I don't know when I'm leaving.
But your parents, they moved to the United States, and you born in the United States.
Yes.
But just curiosity, why they do that immigration? They were trying to find better living conditions,
Yeah,
that kind of.
better life. Yeah, the typical better life, definitely. More work.
Beautiful, beautiful. And what about your studies background? What did you study? In which field?
I have two backgrounds. I studied in criminal justice for a little bit, and then after I joined the military, I went into more cyber security.
Okay.
So more of the computer stuff, which kind of goes in line with what I do every day.
Beautiful. So you are a military, but you are
Hmm.
more in the with the office work with the
Yes,
okay. So just like
much.
in simple lines, because I think a lot of people will have interest in that. Speaking with somebody that's worked by the military from the United States, of course, it's a big thing. So what kind of work you do? It's more connected to informatic systems and all that stuff, or in what area?
It's more just protecting our network, protecting the military network. I can't go too much into
Of
details,
course, of course.
but
Just generally, just generally.
it's not like IT or anything.
Okay.
It's more making sure like we don't get hacked, more or less. That's the best way to
Beautiful.
explain
That's more than
it.
enough. We don't want troubles.
No, no, no,
Yes.
I know, I know.
Beautiful.
And how dance appear in your life, Alex?
Say that one more time.
How dance appear in your life?
How, oh my God. Oh yeah, yeah. So there was this girl.
Always the girl.
Let's see. No, I was introduced to Kizomba actually when I was stationed in Denver, Colorado. I was seeing
But
somebody and she showed.
before Kizomba, you had
No?
a contact? No, nothing.
Kizomba was your first contact with dance.
Yes.
Oh,
Damn.
nice.
Coming from a Latin American background, you didn't have connection with
I
Latin
am the
dancers?
worst Latino ever.
That's quite interesting.
I grew up with salsa music. I grew up with bachata, merengue, all this music, Caribbean music. But which Caribbean music I find out later in my Kizomba life to be zouk and compa and calypso and all this music. But no, Kizomba was my very first dance.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Damn. And how does
Yeah.
it happen? You were saying there was this
So,
girl.
so she showed, yeah. So she showed me a video of Kizomba one time, and I don't remember the video exactly, but I remember my reaction being that looks different. I don't know if it's for me kind of deal. Uh, li- Moving on, I ended up moving to Maryland or DC, and as a secret, I was like, okay, maybe I can learn this Kizomba. And then the next time she comes to visit me or I come to visit her, it can be like a romantic thing and I can dance Kizomba with her. And so I picked up my first dance class in September of 2015. Uh, 2 weeks later, we broke up. We didn't get that opportunity. But by then I had already made really good friends. So I kept going. More or less to see them, just to hang out with them because it was kind of like a new social life for me. And then little by little, it turned more into going to see them, into going to for myself because of how much I enjoyed dancing. So
Beautiful. So before we move on, nowadays, how is the Kizomba in your life? It's a kind of second profession. It's just an hobby. You teach. I know that you DJ, but you also have groups of teaching. Just to
yeah,
understand how it is, not nowadays, but before this
of
situation.
course. So for me, it is a hobby because I do the military on the side. I don't do it full time. Uh, I am lucky that I do have Kizomba here in Washington, D.C. There's so many great artists, so many great dancers in this city. And what did I miss of the question? I want to make sure I got everything.
No, that's it. If you have it like a second profession in your life, or if you are just
Yeah.
an enthusiastic.
No, for me, yeah, it's just more enthusiasm more than anything. Like I enjoy sharing what I love with everybody else through music, through teaching, through history. There's
Yeah,
so
but you teach.
much.
So the question is that besides you have your main profession, of course,
Yes,
you also do like a second job with the dancing, even if it's not with
yes,
the objective of living, but you
Yes.
also earn money with your DJing, with your
Yes.
teaching. So you have it in an important part of your life.
Yes, definitely.
And there
Definitely.
is nothing wrong. For example, I tell you that Pedro, that we made the interview this last Monday, Pedro Soares from Lisbon, he works in a bank. And for example, he take it very seriously, the Kizomba teaching. And for example, all the money that he collects through the dance, it's to invest again. So we do trainings, he travel, and he use that money for self-improvement also. So there is nothing wrong about that. And there are people like me and Paula, for example, that the teaching is our main job, is our main profession. And there are people that are able to balance between each other. I was just trying to understand in what position you were. And there is no correct answer for that. To know, to place.
Yeah, I think, but also for me, what like he does for the investment, what I do with my money more or less, because I have these opportunities to travel, I have through the military or through the dance, and I understand that there's people in Washington, D.C. that don't necessarily have these opportunities. So the money that I do save, I do maybe small events, and I try to bring these artists and DJs in that they have no opportunity of seeing, but they do look up to. So that's one of the things that I do with the money that I raise, because I don't necessarily need the money from dance or DJing. I make the money, but I might as well use the money that I make for something good for everyone else, you know?
Okay.
Nice.
How was the Kizomba scene when you started in the place that you were, in the city that you were?
Yep. In DC, I don't. It's always been big compared to other cities in the United States. It's always been big. You know, we have Oscar BA here. We have Michelle Reyes here. We have another teacher. His name's Esri. And then we have DJs. We have Oscar as well. We have another DJ
But
named
back on the time,
Roland.
but back on the time
Yeah.
that you start, it was different from what it is nowadays.
No, same teachers, same DJs.
Really? Oh.
Yep.
But the
I
community
think
didn't grow.
the community grew, I think, with knowledge. I mean, in the beginning, we had our Kizomba social mixed in with Brazilian Zouk. But after a few years, we started kind of dividing ourselves, where the Kizomba, it has definitely grown, especially with Oscar's festival, Sawa Sawa Kizomba Festival, definitely helps grow the DC scene. But it definitely grows every year. I don't know how it's going to be affected after this virus plays out, but I'm looking forward because I know I'm hopeful. If I look back in like the 1920s when the big flu hit, there was really big expansion and creativity with arts in the 1920s. So I'm hoping the same thing happens. Yes, in this this coming.
Before we move on in the conversation and to enter the teacher's training, as you are a military, like you said, you need to travel a lot of times on duty, and even sometimes you need to change city of living with a lot of militaries that happen. Do you think that this dance community, it's a good way of integration also for somebody that have the need of traveling so much and it might become difficult to create roots? Do you think that the dance, it's a good solution for those kind of people that can have a faster integration on the community that they arrive?
Definitely, definitely. I think I have my core family, dance family here in DC. And then, like I said, I travel so many places. I see so many individuals. So even if I do move to a different city, I know who I'm going to see. I know the people that live there. I know the instructors. I know the DJs. So the only thing that I look forward to doing is finding ways to help that dance community as well. So wherever I move, and being military, I don't know when that is going to happen. So I can move. It can be.
Don't you think that we're gonna keep this to the end, but keep this idea of creating a Kizomba community inside of the military community, okay? At the end of the talk, we're gonna speak about that.
Yeah, definitely.
So you said you start dancing in 2015,
Yes.
correct? And in November 2016, you decided to attend the Canada Kizomba Teachers Training, the first edition in Canada, in Montreal. why you decided to do that investment?
I wasn't, uh, it took me a while to really, really grow into Kizomba. I think it wasn't until I met your brother, Bruno, in DCBX in late August that I really was like just in shock and awe of how much knowledge he knew about the dance, about the history, his performances. I'm like, I have to take advantage of him, the fact that he's still in DC. So I took every advantage that I could. And 2 weeks later, after DCBX, he was actually going to be in Boston, Massachusetts. And I was like, okay, I'm going to Boston. Just like that. I'm going to Boston. Just like that. The next day, I was like, I'm going to Boston. That is an 8-hour drive.
Damn.
So I took an 8-hour drive just because I wanted to learn more from Bruno and Caterina.
So
And in the middle of my drive, I find out that that they were getting ready to cancel the entire weekend
oh my God.
because not too many ticket sales. I'm like, come on, man. And I was like, is there anything you can do? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay, we're going to move Bruno and Caterina to the night. We're still going to have the party. You can still come up and just spend the day with us. So, and that's what happened. We were in Boston. I spent the day with Bruno, Caterina, and Wendy, who was the organizer at the time. And I really got to know more about Bruno. I got to know more about Afro-Latin Connection. Uh, and it's then where he started telling me about you and the teachers training that you were having a few months later in Montreal. So I was like, okay, I just need to take advantage of the fact that these guys are close by. So that's what I did. I purchased the ticket right away, and it was my first international flight.
Oh,
I've
really?
never left the United States. My first 2 international flights were the level 1 training in Montreal and the level 2 training in Porto the next year.
Oh my gosh.
So
Yeah.
nice that.
So yeah, you
Pretty
could thank
cool.
your brother is the reason why I attended the
He's
training for
here
sure.
sending a lot of love to you with some stuff like that. He's here listening
Yes.
too.
And we were in,
Obrigado.
yeah. And while we were in Boston, actually, I was like, might as well take advantage of the situation. I'm military. So I actually took them inside of a military base. And you could see they took pictures of like planes in the background. And
So cool.
yeah.
So cool.
So nice.
No, sorry.
In what way you felt that was a good investment?
The teacher's
The
training.
teacher's training.
Right away, right away. I think the moment I started learning about the history, the different kinds of music, it wasn't just patterns, more or less, right? It was so much about why you guys care about the music, the history, just the history, how much history. I can't even explain how much you guys talked about it, how much you guys emphasized it. I think at that moment, I was like, okay, there's so much more I still need to learn about this dance. So I definitely wanted to just keep it going. Yeah.
And did you use after for example, regarding the methodology of that 16 lessons, did you try it anytime?
I did, definitely. It was a good start for me because, again, it was only a year after I started dancing. I wasn't teaching at the time. But after a few months, I was like, okay, let me apply everything that I learned through the methodology, with the history, and even with the knowledge of the music and what I had received. I was like, okay, let me also try this DJ thing out. I love collecting music. I love giving music. Back in the day, collecting and giving music was burning CDs and giving it and making like a nice playlist. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can try this DJ thing out as well. And in around March or April of 2017 is when I started teaching my first class. And yes, I definitely had that book wide open right next to me when I was teaching my first class.
That's a quite interesting situation because you didn't have any experience of teaching dance. You were starting to learn also, so you were in all that boiled brain information.
Yes.
But do you think the KTT, the Kizomba Teachers Training, gave you like a step-by-step of how you need to do it. Was it easier, even after attending the training, to have that booklet with you, with the dossier, and to try to make it happen with your students? Was it easier, the process?
It's 100% easier because the book essentially breaks it down where, to me, something might be easy, and I'll be like, just do this, you just do it this way. But the book breaks it down even throughout several days where it kind of guides you into how, just as simple as doing a virgula. You know, virgula is not like the first week or the second. I don't even remember virgula is even in the first book. But but there's so many steps that can make the virgula so much easier. It took me about a year to understand that one step virgula. It just never made sense to me. It took me actually until I met Bruno that it finally made sense. I took him to the side. I was like, hey, explain this to me right now because it doesn't make any sense. And he did. And this was, again, in Boston when he did this. So the book definitely makes it so much easier to break things down. And that's the biggest thing because people are coming, they might come from a salsa bachata dance background, but there's also individuals like me who come from a military background. All they know is stand straight, look straight, keep your knees straight, everything straight. So it's very different now going into work where everybody's like this, and I'm more like relaxed.
And then why level 2? You did the level 2 of the teachers training. Why?
This level 1 was too short. Level 1 was too short, and I've never been to Portugal. I've never been anywhere outside the United States until Canada. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go for it. And it helped that Michelle Reyes was also attending as well. So I knew somebody while I was there. But yeah, that's really it. I just
because it's a quite big investment in all directions. It's not only financial investment, but also the time investment. Because you need to stop doing what you do regularly. Maybe use your vacation time to do this kind of investment. Of course, coming to Portugal, coming to Porto, although it was in March, the weather is not the best to come. But I don't know if it was rainy time that time. But even though it's a beautiful city to visit, it was considered several years best European destination, and even Portugal the best world destination. So we have a lot of good things to offer in a small country, so we easily can visit, of course. But even though it's a big investment. And what do you think that from level 1 mainly, going to Canada, doing your first international travel, then you come to Porto to do your second international travel, what do you think that you collect more from these investments that you made, all the experience that is associated to that, to help your community to grow? What do you think that brought you more?
Knowledge, definitely knowledge. Knowledge about the dance itself. And confidence as well. I can speak more clearly, more confidently. If somebody explains Kizomba one way, I'm like, no, that's not true. This is correct. I can confidently say this now. A lot of the stigmas and stereotypes of Kizomba, I can quickly, right away, just shut it down and be like, no, this is the way it is. Let me show you. Come to a party. And yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing for me is the confidence to speak up and just show everybody what this dance truly is.
That's quite interesting because you are saying that in somehow it also helps you in your day life, not only for the Kizomba life, but also for your profession and your being, your personality, your confidence, your trust.
Yeah. Now that when I talk, it's so much easier for me to give briefings because I have that training from the teachers training. It's so much easier to talk in the military. When I teach, I have to take care of my students. So it became so much easier in the military to take care of my subordinates. you know,
That
yeah,
really cool.
it's the,
How was the feeling in the training, the level 1? You need to teach a 5 minutes lesson. Remember? How was that?
I was just trying to wing it, you know. I was more or less just taking advice from the other students. I'm like, okay. But in the military, one of the things that I was really good at, we call it drill. I don't know if, yeah. So, like everybody walking at the same time in a formation. And I was the commander at one point. I was the one giving the commands. So to me, being able to shut everything down and give commands and speak, it was easy for me. The only thing that I was missing was to take what I knew and apply it to dance, to apply it to Kizomba. And it was, I don't want to say easy, but I felt comfortable the moment I stepped in front of a group of people. Like that's where I need to be. So.
Beautiful, beautiful. Queres perguntar a próxima?
Sim. What you will tell to a person that might be within decision to attend the KTT?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
No problem.
Imagine that somebody are within decision to take the decision of attending KTT, Kizomba Teachers Training. What would be your advice?
Just do it. Just do it. My advice would be get ready to learn. Get ready to be inspired. Get ready to think that you may know so much about Kizomba already that when you attend the training, you actually don't know as much as you think you know, because it's such a big world. Just the history alone of how Kizomba came to be. That's my biggest advice would be just go for it. Just take advantage of the situation. Take advantage of the fact that you have an opportunity to learn from these individuals. That opportunity is not going to come every day. So anytime you guys do come to like Canada or the United States, I'm always telling my closest friends, just go. Take advantage of the fact that they're here. You're never going to find anything like this with Kizomba. Never.
I have a curiosity because you are a person that work with informatics, with computers. Of course, having the experience live, face to face, with all the sensors active, it's something. But
yes.
Attach it to the situation that we are living nowadays, and even because of the difficulty of investment that some people can have, investment of time and of money to travel, do you consider the online training a good option?
Yes, I think, yes, 100, I would say 100%, only because for me, I care more about somebody's health. Like, I don't want in the back of their mind during a class that, oh, is this guy sick or is this guy sick? Right now is a perfect opportunity to take advantage. You know, back in the day, the stigma was don't learn dance from YouTube. Well, now we don't really have much of a choice. But, you know, I think everybody's taking advantage of the social media nowadays. Everybody's taking advantage of going live, producing more online classes. And it's a lot easier for me to tell people, okay, take these classes from these guys from Portugal, for example, you know, because they're not in the, it's so much easier to tell people, just take this online class. I don't, it's hard for me to explain. Like,
yeah, but for example, let me know your opinion regarding the KTT, the teachers training, the level 1, and you made both, so you can have a good understanding. The level 1, we share a lot of theory.
yes,
we have a lot of theoretic lessons, and the practical part is mainly directed to the training, the program, the syllabus. And we have some lessons that are for individual dancer development with some techniques that allow you to improve as a dancer. But the level 2, it's completely the opposite. It's a lot of practice. practice,
Mm-hmm.
practice, practice. So do you consider that attending the level 1 in an online system can be including better, because you will keep all the videos to you? You will have the opportunity to listen again the number of times that you want. If you didn't understand something, you push back and watch it
Mm-hmm.
again. That don't happen in a live lesson, because when we are speaking, blah, 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 you need to take the notes. You keep some things to you as PDF material and video,
Mm-hmm.
but not all the content. So having an online system with video lessons, you can watch them the number of times that you want. And maybe
Mm-hmm.
could be a good preparation to attend a level 2 live after.
Exactly. Exactly. I would highly recommend, if the level 1 were to go online, I would take the class right away. Not even a question, because I know there's still something that I'm missing. And the way you guys explain everything, and the fact that I can rewind is is a big thing. But again, like you said, there's the theory, there's the musicality, there's the history behind it. Like all this is it's mostly just talking at the level 1 training. So it definitely could benefit from an online platform. And like you said, while you were talking, I was thinking the exact same thing. People can take the level 1 online, and your level 2 class could like just skyrocket in number of attendees.
Yeah.
So
Good. So let's move now a little bit more to you. Thank you very much for your sharing regarding the KTT, regarding the investment that you made, and sharing why the people should do it, the ones that want to invest their time to invest to become an instructor, or even if they don't want to become an instructor but want to go deeper in that area. Because we have a lot of people that never taught and they don't want to teach, but they attend the training because they want to do this self-improvement, and that's okay. So we have this metaphor of the leathers that we have in our life. That we consider that we have 3 leathers: the professional ladder, the one that we climb to get to higher patterns of our profession. We have the personal ladder, that is the one that we share with others, so relationship with others, with boyfriend, with girlfriend, with family, with friends. And we have the ladder of I, so our inner growing as a person with a personality. And usually on this talk, we like to talk a little bit more connected to the professional ladder, the ladder of success. So the ladder of success combine the 3 ladders, but directing more to the professional one. And we always like to ask, what is the big dream, that big dream? And it's interesting to realize, and I will anticipate that here, that a lot of people don't have a big dream defined. And they hide a little bit under the excuse of, I like to live the day life. I don't want to be attached to the past. I don't want to be blah, blah, blah to the future, blah, 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 blah. That is very beautiful. But, and if you are a military, you know that you need to have a goal. You need to have
a plan.
You need to have a direction. So
yes.
even if with this idea that the plans sometimes need to change because the goals during the process they change also. We change targets in the middle of a situation.
Yes.
So, but we consider, and this is changing a lot our life, and that's why, and it changed our life because we made it without having the conscience, and with the years and with the maturity, we are understanding more things that happen in our life due to some decisions that we made that were not conscient, but good that they happen. And nowadays, having this conscience, we want also to help others to get there faster. In the same way, like attending a KTT, it's a lever. It's a way of getting there faster. Reading a book, it's a lever also. In some days, you will be able to get the compiled knowledge of somebody that maybe was studying an entire life. So this is the main idea. We would like to know if you have a dream, a big dream. Can be connected to dance or can be connected to the military life or can combine both. But if you have something in your mind.
I think I would have to say my dream would be I would maybe introducing but growing culture into the military life. You know, a lot of the times the military mindset is just work, work, work. And we do have cultural issues, of course. We have the discrimination in the military. We have all these issues that everybody else experiences. The military is no different. But one of the things I want to grow in the military is cultural influence, having that mindset. So if I'm able to take everything that I can and one day integrate that into everybody else that I work with's mind, they can take that information and pass it down to their future subordinates, the mindset of being open to accepting culture. And that's the biggest thing. Like, we're so sheltered. Most of the people in the military only know the American life, but there's so much else going on around the world, in Asia and in Europe. And what I want to do is be able to one day represent the Africa side of things. And for me, that's one of the biggest goals is the influence and the acceptance that we're all gonna come from different places.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful project and very noble.
Yeah.
Just to give you here a comparison, for example, Pedro, the one that we had the talk last Monday, last Wednesday. Yes, today is Monday. I'm a little bit lost with the time.
Me too.
He works in a bank professionally, and he loved to dance and he loved to teach. And during the conversation, he was one of these ones saying that I like to live the moment. Of course, I want to get in a higher position that I can inside of my job, blah, 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 blah. But at the end, we were able to find an interesting challenge to him, not to help the bankers with the dance, but to help the dancers with the financial knowledge, because our profession of professional dancers have this lack in knowledge of business management, of financial management. And Pedro, being in both worlds and being a very good professional in that field, he could create a kind of product that could help us professional dancers to improve in that field, because there is a big lack in our community of professional dancers. Here I'm seeing that you can use your dance knowledge to be able to help your co-workers, your colleagues from the military life. And it's impressive the amount of things that you felt in your personal improvement that you could apply to your profession that can help also your fellow colleagues that work in the military field.
And on the flip side of things, there's a lot of one of the biggest things I try to do for the dance community is the military is full of resources. You know, if somebody's going through like a mental thing, whether they're contemplating suicide or whether it's something like sexual assault or whether it's something more like family matters, we have so many different resources. We have financial resources. We have a big list of things. So I may not be able to say, hey, these are the people that you can talk to, but I can get advice from all these individuals and apply my knowledge of that to the issues that are going on in the dance community. I cannot say that I know all the answers, but I know who's going to have all the answers.
Beautiful. So I would like you to define a plan for that, because you have a goal already. You have a definition of the goal. And like a good military that you are, you need to have a strategy. And that way you will be able to create your first step on the ladder of success in that project. Because you might look up to the ladder and say, damn, this is far away. It will take a lot of work, a lot of resources. It will take me a lot of time. And this is the first thing to start procrastinating, because it's difficult to start. But then after, if you know already where it is, it's a big achievement. What we need to do now is to look down and look to the first stair. And
Yes.
like this, step by step, without rush, doing your growing in your ladder, on the climbing of your ladder. So we have here this challenge for you, that is to define what is your first step. Maybe the first step is just to write down a script of what would be that big goal. What will include, what are the name of the people that you need to talk with in order to start something. To give like a name to that project, even if it's not the final name, but at least to have something that you can call and to talk with others. If you talk with the psychologist, if wherever you say, look, I thought about this project, I gave this name, I don't know if it will be the final name, but I thought that you might be a person that will help a lot to this. And make sure that if you are passionate with that, you will contaminate the others with a good passion, and to watching others to understand what they feel that could be something that they will bring profit to them, either in a psychological way, financial way, whatever. So we need to be smart in the strategy in that way. If you talk to a doctor, or if you talk to a psychologist, or if you talk to a financial guy about this project, for sure they will have different goals on it. And it will be a smart decision from you if you start first, immediately, the first thing, if you consider that that person have inputs that will be beneficial for your project, understand what they want with this project and direct the conversation in that way. So, you want to add something?
I think I do actually. I think the biggest thing, again, this goes with trying to bring the military life. One of the things that they teach us in the military is to have these short and long-term goals, but to make sure that these goals are, how you say, not difficult, but challenging, but attainable. You want to make sure that you don't want to set yourself up for failure, but at the same time, you want to make sure that it's going to take some time to work to these goals, and you want to make sure that you're here.
That's why the ladder, you have different patterns. I don't know if that is the word in English.
Different stages.
So you have the big top, and you need to have small conquers to have celebration, and to bring that self-confidence to you, like, I get this stage. Now I have another stage, and I have the top of the ladder. Maybe you will get there faster than you think. And when you get there, what we need to do is to get another top of the ladder.
Just keep extending.
You visit our place, the Maish, the building. So with Mushima, with the school. So in 2005, when we started Afro-Latin Connection project, that building was the top of our ladder. And we thought that we'll need a lot of time to get there. And we just needed 5 years. 5 years is nothing to get there. It was really, really fast. So this is a good example that it's possible as far as you create your stages to get the top. And that is a good advice, because if you get too high and you don't learn how to appreciate and to celebrate the small victories, the small each steps that you do, even if it's not a big stage, but it's a small step, we need to learn how to celebrate that.
Exactly.
And like this, the things start happening naturally. Call it law of attraction, call it whatever you want, the God, the universe, whatever. When you start looking in that direction, the things start appearing. Even if it is just a brain condition that we have that is called the reticulatory something system, that our brain, RTM, I think it's the name. So our brain, it's have the capacity of absorb a big amount of information, that we need to have like a switch that will block the amount of information that we receive, because otherwise we would get crazy. That's why we don't listen everything, we don't see everything, although we are absorbing that information. For sure, you already have this idea that when you think about buying a car, a certain brand with a certain model, suddenly you start watching them on the street. It's not because there are more people with them. It's just because you have this attention open.
Exactly.
So when we start working in a certain objective, you start giving the opportunity to your brain to grab the attention of that things that you need to conquer your objective. It's nothing more than that. It's working in our subconscious in order that we allow our brain to collect this information. And this is science. It's nothing more than that. So that's why we need to place ourselves in that position and do every day a small thing that will allow us to get the big deal. So maybe what I would create as a commitment for you is to, in the next 2 days, today or tomorrow, you will think a little bit about that and you will baptize your project, even if it's not the final name, okay? Like somebody says, done is better than perfect. In Portuguese makes more sense. Feito é melhor que perfeito. En español será idéntico. Hecho mejor que perfecto. So the idea is to give the first step. And I would like you to post something live online and you tag us. You can do 2 things. Or you can say, the name is this one, and you tag me and Paula in order that we see. Or you just post, I already have a name to my next project that will be associated to this and that, even if you don't announce the name. But we want online commitment, something that is there to know
make sure that
you made the first step.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
And believe me, that is a beautiful project, and you will change a lot of people's life going in that direction. So when we have a passion that creates impact in people's life, this needs to happen. It's the same thing that we do. We teach people how to dance on the top of the iceberg, but inside of the iceberg, on the top, we change people's life, and we teach people how to live. So that brings to us a bigger impact on the community, on the world, and it's the big reason that we love what we do, is to be able to transform people's life in the way that we have. And understanding that responsibility, it's a big achievement, because a lot of people in our field, in our profession, don't know the power that they have to interfere in people's life, positively or negatively. And that is very dangerous. So this is also one of our tasks, is to show the world, show those that are starting that path of becoming an instructor, a teacher, that you deserve your opportunity, but take care what you do with that opportunity. Make sure that you collect the proper tools. Make sure that you do the mistakes, but you learn with them in order that you keep improving every day. Because when we start, we are crappy. We are not good. But having that opportunity will allow it to have a good impact in people's life. Good. So we will be waiting for that post. And we would like to finish with a message that you can share with those that are listening to us and those that will listen, because we're going to upload this and a lot of people will listen after. So share a message from whatever you want.
Let's see. Work hard. The biggest thing is to continue to work hard. When I first started dancing, when I got into it, my classes were an hour and a half away, driving in DC traffic. But I knew something was there. Just because you are one way right now, it doesn't mean, like you said, instructors, DJs, they can change you and you don't even realize it. Before I started dancing, I hated dancing with a passion. I hated it. I was, like I said, I was the worst Latino ever. But as I got into it, now I'm the dance instructor. Now I'm the DJ. Now I'm the one in charge, kind of helping out the dance community. And a lot of it happens behind the scenes. There is a lot, you do have a lot of FaceTime with individuals, but so much work gets put in behind the scenes, creating the content, when you're a teacher, or finding music when you're a DJ. It's important to work hard when everybody is watching you, but it's much more important to work harder behind the scenes to make sure you're able to produce quality over popularity. you're going to accept criticism. It's going to happen. My advice on that is don't accept criticism from somebody you would never seek advice from. You know, there's always going to be those individuals that are just have it in for you, whether it's content or jealousy or whatever the case may be. But there's gonna be individuals out there, like I said, we have Oscar B8 that just want to see you grow, that don't necessarily tell you that they need help with the dance community, but they would love and appreciate more of that burden off of their shoulders. So always go to them. Anytime they have something to say, it's for a reason. You know, whether it's you're organizing an event or DJing or teaching. Yeah, that's my biggest takeaway is.
And it's a beautiful advice and very important advice. Do it because you need to do it and because you want to do it, not to show others that you are doing something. And
exactly
the kind of seed that will bring amazing harvest. The harvest of that seed, sometimes it takes a long time, but we need to be patient also, and to understand that if you want to collect watermelon, you need to seed a watermelon seed. You cannot seed oranges if you want watermelons.
Exactly.
So it's a very, very
good
advice. Alex, thank you so much for waking
Always a
up
pleasure.
so early.
Always a pleasure.
It's an honor and a pleasure to be part of your life, to know that we could help you to get a little bit up on your ladders. And
Yes, of course.
I honestly hope, and I know that you'll be able to do it, to bring that project out that will create a huge impact in people's life. Not only in your community, it will start there, but it will get the world and will inspire others also to do the same worldwide. So these kind of projects are the ones that make the difference. We don't need to think about changing the world. If you just, like Paula say, if you clean your front door,
carpet,
you will be inspiring others to do the same. And by consequence, in the roller coasters, in a snowball movement, you'll be able to change the world also. So thank you very much for your work, for your passion, for your sharings, and can't wait to hug you and to be with you live. And thank you very much. So thank you also for those that were listening to us here. In 2 days, we're going to have Irma. We're going to travel to Spain. So Spanish talking people, it will be for you. Nos vamos a tener Irma de Valladolid aquí con nosotros. Y nothing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you, guys. Bye, Bruno.